Welcome to the channel. On this channel, we are going to mainly focus on computers, gaming, tech of any kind, might venture into some DIY, and anything else that's fun. But today, we are going to take this gaming rig, which as you can see is already missing the GPU. We are going to do a case swap into the Lian Li 011 Dynamic. We are going to throw in just a ton of the Unifans, all in white. Going to be swapping over the cooler to the Galahad AIO. We're going to be adding some more memory. We're going to be adding a new SSD, vertical graphics card mount, the Lian Li Streamer Pluses, and some other odds and ends to clean things up, make it look really nice. So without further ado, let's get started. Now that we've got everything out of the computer, let's discuss what we're keeping, what we're replacing, and what we're even adding to. So we will be continuing to use the Gigabyte Aorus Gaming 7 Wi-Fi, the Ryzen 2700X, been a great chip. Don't see a reason to replace it just yet. We're going to continue using the G.Skill Trident Z 3200 CO14. We're going to continue using the EVGA 1000 G3. It's been a great power supply and we'll probably need it. What we're going to add is another 2 sticks. They're identical, so we'll continue with that 3200 CO14. Originally, I have a 128 gigabyte boot drive, and then I had a 2 terabyte 7200 spinny drive for the game drive. We're going to be adding a 970 Evo Plus for our game drive down here. And then we're going to be replacing the EVGA CLC 280 with the Galahad AIO 360. And then what you didn't see, which was already gone and sold, was the Sapphire Nitro Plus Vega 64. But we're going to be upgraded to it. No, not just yet. We're going to wait on that. So let's go ahead and clean up the CPU, add our RAM, get this all prepped and ready to go into the 011 Dynamic. And here, the 011 Dynamic. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, not another 011 Dynamic. But there's a reason everyone uses this case. It's beautiful, it's easy to work in, and it really does almost everything right. Yes, some people have some airflow issues, But I think overall, this is still one of the best cases that you can get for the price. And we did get it in white, so it'll kind of go with the theme of black and white for the build. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful case. So let's dive right in, get everything prepped. We're gonna be removing both those 2.5-inch drive trays because we're gonna have fans down there, fans back there, radiator and fans up here. So let's get started with that. Next, we're going to be installing the AIO. Now, I've already fitted the unifans to the radiator, as you can see. But for those that don't know, the really cool and special thing about the unifans is instead of needing 2 wires or 2 cables for each fan, for power for the fan and for ARGB, you just have 2 for each bank. So all you have to do is you take however many fans you're going to do and you just hook them together like this. And then on the end of your bank, which is up to 4 max per bank, you hook on this and it gives you your power and your RGB control. So let's go ahead and install the fan and keep on going. now that we've completed most of the build, we get to go to the fun part, the graphics card. And I have to say, I was extremely lucky. I didn't have to fight the bots. I didn't even have to camp out overnight. So with that, I want to say thank you to Micro Center. I was able to arrive 30-40 minutes after they opened, and they had received a truckload of these. And when I arrived, I walked in, ton of people everywhere, got to the graphics cards. Gentleman asked if he could help me. I said, do you have any 3080s? He said, yes. We've got some EVGAs. I said, which ones? For the Win 3 Ultras. I said, I will take one. So he walks me back there. They had at least 10, maybe 15 more left. So I purchased it. And it's going to be what's going to go in here. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and open up, take a look. Let's see if this is the one that now doesn't have the red trim, because that would be epic. And it looks like, yes, this is a newer version that does no longer have that red trim around the sides, but it does look like it still has that back there, which really won't affect this build because it is going to be vertically mounted. So let's go ahead and get the vertical mount out, get it installed, and let's see what this looks like. So for this build, I'm going to be using the Fantex vertical GPU bracket. Everything I've seen online shows that this is the best one to use in this case if you still want to use fans on the bottom. So let's dive right in, see what we got, because I have not used this bracket before. Now, from my understanding, the easiest way is to actually mount the card to the bracket and then install it as a whole into the system. So let's go ahead and do that. So I quickly realized it's going to be much easier to install this with it laying on its back. I have installed the graphics card on the bracket with the riser. So let's go ahead and drop her in there. And here we have it, the completed build. Doesn't it look great? So now I'm going to go ahead and just show you a couple games, show you how it runs, and then we'll finish it off. Here we are in Apex Legends. Now we all know this is not the most demanding title, but it is one I enjoy playing. And we are running right at 167, 170. The GPU's at 95%, 94, CPU's at about 20%, and everything looks extremely smooth. Runs great. And I have played this in game with other people, and there's really not much different. So let's go ahead and jump out of this and we'll see how COD works. Here we are in some Call of Duty. Just so you can see where we're at. Full screen. Screen refresh for this Gigabyte M27Q is 170 Hertz, rendering 100% 1440p. Everything else is high or near high. I tried the DirectX ray tracing, and you couldn't really tell a difference in this game, and it would lose about 30 frames per second. Everything else is turned up except for motion blur, because motion blur is stupid. Anyways, so let's see how it runs. Like right now I'm getting 168, 170. Say it's pretty consistent in that 150 to 180 range. The GPU is running at 73C, about 95 to 97%. Price staying pretty consistent at 1905 megahertz. I have not done anything as far as overclocking of the card. This is straight out of the box. I just put it on the BIOS on the OC switch. The CPU is running about 45C, 55%, and it's just on precision boost overdrive, and it's just stays right around 4.2 gigahertz. I have never seen a reason to overclock this chip unless you're just trying to get numbers out of it. So let's check another game. Yes, I know it's just Rocket League, but it's just sitting at 250 frames per second. Everything's maxed out. And yes, I'm using a keyboard right now. I do have a controller that I normally use, but just wanted to show how good this game can look when it's completely maxed out. It's so much fun. And I'm not that good at it either. So, before we discuss the conclusion of the video, I know there's something that we need to talk about. So, a couple hours after installation, one strip of the 24 pin developed that red always on, indicating one of the pixels in the strip is bad. Now, luckily, I contacted Leanne Lee, and they contacted me back within 24 hours, and very simple to work with, very easy, and makes me glad I've gone with them on most of the components, as they are just going to send me a new strip. No hassles, I don't have to send anything back, so I'm very thankful for that. So with that being said, I've been extremely happy with how the project turned out. The Ryzen 2700X, while it is 2 generations old, it really still performs excellent in everything I've done with it so far. The video editing I've done so far, the games that I play, and yes, I know I'm not playing AAA brand new titles, but for what I do, it's been great. So I really can't complain. So with that being said, I'd like to conclude this video, and if you like what you saw, please subscribe, smash the bell, and I'll be getting more content out as soon as I can. Talk to you later, guys.